Hello everyone, my name is Webweaver and welcome back to World of Horror. So on today's episode, we're just vibing, we're just hanging out, you know? We're customizing the playthrough. We'll do a little Kairi Minami, Hunted by the Ill-Fated, because we haven't done that in a hot minute. Ill-Fated is a nasty one for sure, but getting a free level up is quite nice. So, as far as these things go, we're gonna take self-therapy, I think. Quick thinking and second sight. All of these have blue options. Let me just get that out of the way. But self-therapy, I think, is gonna be the most useful because it's directly healing. Now, how we want to handle our weapon, I'm not entirely sure. We should have checked the lighthouse first to see if we have a strength check, because we could potentially run Monkey Wrench with a free level up at the start of the game. I'm not entirely sure. I think what we'll do is we will take a point of strength because it will make our brace for impact better. And if we have a strength check, that's even more value. We do. Super Smash Bros. Right there. Absolutely incredible. So strength, charisma, dexterity, and knowledge. Literally every single one, and then we got light source right there. So we are kind of encouraged to go with the heavy-duty flashlight, for sure. So this is, like, we just won the game because we got this. Right, for those of you who don't know, self-therapy and library notes is one of the most overpowered combos in the game. And if you specifically use it to, you can break the game. Now, we're not going to do that. If we get flesh regrowth, we'll use it once and then discard it, or maybe we'll just discard it immediately. I'm looking at these spells, and I'm thinking to myself that I think invisibility can just probably be safely forgotten. I don't think we have to worry about it right now. We could re-roll until we get Expel Evil. I mean, Ashen Contract is great. We'll get rid of Witness Curse. We can re-roll infinitely, which is something that we will be doing because it's literally the synergy between library notes and self-therapy. But what we want to do is we want to get Expel Evil, and then we want to use it, and then we will take a shower real quick. We could also use Grow Teeth, but Grow Teeth is awful, and we don't need to eat God. I mean, Ashen Contract's pretty good. So I'll take 2 Ashen Contracts, to be honest with you. Memory Extract is fantastic. This is the one point in time where you're kind of like, you want spell slots, because you're actually getting really good spells. And what we're going to try to do, actually, is because we have both library notes and self-therapy, we're going to try to farm for the katana. Because we're on Athiel Azath, so it just costs Doom to cast Void. So what I want to do is just keep casting Void until we get the katana. That could be interesting. Now, admittedly, you might be thinking you're on Ill-Fated, so you would fail. You're probably right in hindsight. However, yeah, we'll use it. Kyoko. Gyoko's pretty great, actually. I'll take that. Now, if we could get Expel Evil, that'd be great. But Expel Evil just doesn't exist. Like, I'll go down to 8. Okay, that's also pretty good. So, I don't consider this game-breaking, because this is just the synergy. I would consider it game-breaking if we rerolled for Flesh Regrowth, because Flesh Regrowth is a broken spell that's not functioning as intended. By using these spells, it's at least costing us something, right? So, we still are gonna, you know, like, win, most likely. Multiply Wound is pretty great. Multiply Wound is really good. I mean, honestly, I just gotta be happy with the spells we already got. We can get rid of Void, because it won't work. The katana is not one of the events that you can succeed. There are events in Ill-Fated that you can succeed with a dice roll. It is not a universal thing. Whether or not that's a glitch I'm not entirely sure. Multiply, Wound, and Cauterize could be synergy, so we'll do that. We'll go ahead and do that. And I will take EXP here, because we could always forget one of these, or we have Memory Extract as well, so... A little crazy, a little bit wild, but I think it'll ultimately be pretty fun. The best outfit, really. The best outfit, truly. Iconic. So, I didn't really make much progress for my Warhammer stuff. It was more or less a Final Fantasy XIV day, which, if Plungerhead is watching, a different game, fill in your own blank. Because of course, I would never play Final Fantasy XIV. That would be patently absurd. We have a 4 damage kick. Do you just want to go into Vigil? Not really. We'll do Freaky Feature. We go to the tree, we get Cursed. Cursed Signs is actually, like, a significant bummer in this specific circumstance. And since we have +2 damage, I literally don't care what weapon we use. I mean, honestly, the Steak Knife might be better. I will do this, and I will fail, because I forgot we're on Ill-Fated, that's right. It's all just strats, it's all fine. We tactically took a +5% Doom there because we want to give the game a chance. And we could sell the library notes if we wanted to, but we'll just take the... It's a shame that it was doomed. We would have gotten healing back from that. But we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. 30% Doom first mystery, totally doable. So we can brace for impact here, and that actually does let us guarantee a basic attack. I'm not entirely sure if we would have been able to do that otherwise, if we didn't have a 15 brace, but I'm too lazy to actually like do the time unit calculation because I was told there will be no math today. And then we can just do this and we win. So that's cool. You do indeed love to see it. I mean, having Kyoko and Ancestral Strength is really nice. And by the way, think of Kyoko as Doom banking. Because we can just let Kyoko go and we'll get -5% Doom. So that's pretty cool. We will take the reason damage here because the other one's Doom, so I don't want to do that. But yeah, it was just a MMO day today. And don't worry about that, that's completely fine. We're not worried. That's incredibly lucky, by the way. That is fine. I almost got the vending machines there. Probably wouldn't have mattered, but... So we have every stat check. So leadership. And then... I'm not entirely sure. Because obviously we want to get knowledge up as high as possible. But we also, you know, want to be able to pass the lighthouse. Let's get knowledge up just so that we can have, like, slightly better combat. And then we will go ahead and... I want reason here. Or I want EXP, sorry, because that EXP is 2 reason if we need it. And we can just immediately go into Vigil. Like, I'm not scared at all. We have both Memory Extract and 4 spells we can forget. Hello, cat. What are you doing today? I just have my cat over here. She was sleeping. And obviously, because I am now talking, it is significantly harder to do that. Not that that's ever stopped her before. But she's just kind of vibing. And to be honest, like... I did indeed, like, miss my cat a lot. Because I haven't seen her. Well, I've seen her for, like, the week I've been here. But I haven't seen her in, like, 3 months, so it feels good. But yeah, we're just all vibing here. It's just a vibing day. This is a certified retreat from the rooms moment. I think if we can take reason damage, we probably should. Because we just have such strong reason gain right now. But I don't want Doom, so we'll take stamina there, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it should be fine. We're gonna get quite a lot of EXP here, and we don't have to worry about second... This is one of the things you can pass, by the way. You can succeed this check. You can succeed the other one, too. You can actually succeed a lot of events that give you items, right? Like, if you're in the scavenge for an item room, which I think is a mansion thing, then you can do that one. You can do this one, the seamstress story, and then you can do another one, and also the light the fireplace and eat the food, which are perception and strength checks respectively. In this mystery, you can do that as well. Oh no, whatever shall I do? 13 health, wow. Like, we got super lucky, right? Kyrie and library notes are two very powerful. Probably should have done something there, but our spells are just so good, dude. Like, we could forget Ashen Contract's probably the first one to go. But I'm not worried about it at all, right? Like, just get me out of here. Yeah, I played some Final Fantasy XIV. I did some of the MSQ, and I also did the Palace of the Dead. I didn't know this at the time. I found out the hard way. But if your game crashes while you're in the Palace of the Dead, you're kind of just out of luck. Like, you lose the run, which is a bummer. Like, you can't reconnect. There's no saving. So you just have to start from your last checkpoint, which kind of sucks, because I was at the boss, and as we were engaging the boss, I got the, like, DirectX 11 crash, which really sucks. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get knowledge here. So I'm a bit sad about that, because I was fighting the boss from, like, floors 31 to 40, and I just lost the progress, and I have to do it all over again, which, I mean, it's a grindy thing, right? So I'm gonna have to do it all over again regardless, just in the grand scheme of things. But it's a bummer that they don't have any, like, sort of rejoining system. Right, like, I was quick, too. Like, when my game crashed, immediately booted it up again. I just immediately got back in there, and I was just sitting back at the checkpoint, and I'm like, and I lost my party. That was a bummer. And I looked it up, and other people had the same problem. Some poor guy got to floor 132 solo, and his game crashed. Oh, that must hurt. But yeah, we'll do... I mean, we probably do Abnormal Arms last, right? Actually, no, we do Sailors last, because we want to discard library notes, because we don't have anything else. So we'll do Ramen, because it's Ramen. We can just kind of, no thoughts, head empty, click through it. Like, this was not a... Yes, sure, why not? We'll take the 3% Doom, that's fine. This was not at all a representative run about how Harbinger of Doom ill-fated usually goes. Like, this is the Kyrie strat. And by Kyrie strat, I mean you get incredibly lucky, like, once. And then you just, like, run wild, because it doesn't really matter. And it still doesn't really matter, by the way. Like, just, we don't have any problem with combat, so Ashen Contract can get out of here. 51% Doom, third mystery. I think I'd rather just, like, be careful of what small family restaurants I visit in the future. Which is not hard. Ask the waiter. Thank you very much. Pleasure doing business with you. That's a quick thinking thing, by the way. Quick thinking has 2 checks, which is pretty cool. Please? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, yes. We're perfectly fine. Thank you, Meat Cleaver. Very cool. Webweaver plays World of Horror. Feat Violent Vigil Meat Cleaver. I'd do that collaboration. Contaminated water. For those of you who play the dreaded MMO, the critically acclaimed game that people won't shut up about, I'm one of them. You're wondering where I am. We outed, well, we haven't outed, but we have confronted the sus imposter. And that will make absolutely 0 sense to like 90% of the people watching this video. And it honestly doesn't even really make sense to me as well. But if you get it, if you know, you know. If you don't know, I suppose you don't know. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because it's a video game that people play. It's fun. I like it. it's probably, I think I've said this before, but I think it probably does a video game power fantasy better than like 90% of games that try to give you a power fantasy. Because it sets you up in such a way that you just kind of, how do I put it? It's really weird. Like, I can explain, well, it's difficult for me to explain, right? Because it kind of sets itself up in a way where, hold on, this is kind of sketchy. Is it? No, it's not sketchy at all. It sets itself up in a way where you're playing a game with, like, thousands of other people. Like, when you play Final Fantasy XIV, you're the warrior of light, right? You're the protagonist who's gonna save everybody. And you would think that that probably gets, like, old pretty quick, right? Like, that gets... You know, that gets old pretty quick. And you're worried about, like... Well, that's actually the complete wrong word. I don't even know why I said that. When you would think it would get old pretty quickly. Being the protagonist, who's the unique person, who's the only one who can save the world. We're gonna fight the boss, let's do it. You're the protagonist, you're the only person who can save the world. You'd think that would get old when you have, like, thousands of people running alongside you who are also the protagonist who can only save the world, right? However, that's not really how the game presents itself, and it does a fantastic job of making you feel like the special character who's the only one who can save the day. Like, it does an absolutely incredible job at that. And I haven't played, like, even Skyrim gets it more wrong, I would say. Right? Like, I would consider Final Fantasy XIV a better power fantasy, at least for me, than Skyrim. Because the problem with Skyrim, from a power fantasy perspective, is the world doesn't really care about you being there. Right? Like, that's one of the things that I hated about Skyrim. Like, you assassinate the Emperor of... Like, you assassinate the Emperor of Tamriel, and what happens? Pretty much literally nothing. Like, there will be, like, a guard dialogue option that you unlock. It's a meme, dude. You kill the Emperor of Tamriel, and then you get, like, a dialogue option, or not even a dialogue option, it's just generic NPCs will say, like, one line repeatedly. And that's the same thing with all the guilds, you know? All the guilds are like, oh my god, it's crazy. Like, you become the leader of the companions, and then the only thing that happens is a guard will occasionally say, hey, you should keep your dogs, like, quiet at night, because the howling is disturbing people. Or you become the leader of the Thieves Guild or the Dark Brotherhood, and it's like, oh, you're weird, you know? There's, like, no consequence for anything you do in Skyrim. The world doesn't react to anything. It feels so fake. And, I mean, obviously it's a video game, but in Final Fantasy XIV, it's like your character does something, and then people are like, oh crap, you just did something. That's crazy. Also, Curse Signs doesn't work on Multiply Wound. You love to see it. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, he's an eldritch nerd, so we deal more damage against him. Cool. But Curse Signs does work on Cauterize. It does. It's 1% Doom. I'll never recover financially from this. But yeah, in the dreaded video game, it's like, you do something, and the world reacts to it, like, constantly. Like, the story changes based on, admittedly, your preset actions. Like, if you want to play the game, you have to do the same thing as everybody else. It's true, but it feels way more meaningful because characters will... Not only does the story change, but characters will not shut up about what you do. And I think that's probably one of its strong points. Because it sounds kind of weird when you explain it, but it really do just be... It hit different, I guess you could say. Like, I've never played a game that does it that well. And it still manages to give you, like, absolutely god-awful quests about just running around doing absolutely nothing. You know, like, terrible filler quests. It has you do plenty of that. I'm not... Alas, I don't have anything to throw. I mean, we could multiply wound and then desperation and get him. I think I'd rather take the reason damage, though. Although our spells are dropping. Like, we only got 2 spells. But then again, we have memory extract, so it's like, who cares? Just brace for impact, lol. And then just kill him next turn. Because then we can just, you know, do that. It's, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't really have anything to talk about. And the run isn't particularly... Okay, we will get rid of this man right now. This man has to be stopped. So this will do 12 damage. And then that'll do more than 12 damage, so who cares? Now, why on earth that did 11, I have no idea. But there we go. I thought that was... Oh, because he was a human. That was my mistake. We're not going to level up strength 2 more times, unfortunately. So I think what we'll do is we'll just take folklore studies and stamina up. Go ahead and do the corpse dust. Do we care about this? Not really, and I'll explain why in a second. Like, yeah, we would like to... Can we win with 4-3? Boss is doing 5, so we have 1 turn. 1 turn to kill. We'll get cursed once, I think. That's, I almost wished for money. Branded, completely fine. That's completely fine. It's not gonna make a meaningful difference. Now, Panic might. We're level 6, it's minus 33. Yeah, 92%. We never got the Dust of Seeing, so that will be a minor problem. But I don't think... do we risk it? I don't think we have to, but let's do it anyways. Thank God for that. So do we take the opportunity to use... Flesh, not growth. Multiply wound. He goes down to 22, because I'm pretty sure it does 6 damage. We should be able to kill on that. But I'm not entirely sure. Can we throw lucky earrings? Like, our luck's garbage. Did 0 damage. Yeah, I feel... Okay, we'll multiply wound. 23. That's not good. Okay, so desperation. I don't want to do 92 times. Nah, I don't like that. So here's what we'll do. We can get ourselves out of this, no problem. Do a little memory extraction. Do a little brace for impact. And then we will regain 1 stamina. And then we will punch for 6 damage. Or, sorry, we will bonk for 6 damage. A punch has a 70% hit chance, which is not good enough. So then 17 becomes a lot more manageable. And you know, I was thinking about the One Piece thing again, like wanting to rewatch One Piece, and I actually have decided I'm gonna rewatch a completely different show from the beginning. I'm gonna rewatch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now that might seem out of left field from you, but here's the deal, here's the reason, alright? The reason being that... So we're gonna take -3, so we need to do that twice. And then we'll be down to 1. Yeah, it's okay. The reason being that I'm gonna be doing a lot of painting and building miniatures. Now, I won't be able to have, like, I will have my laptop down there, it's true, but if I'm gonna be painting or building, I need to have eyes on the model, right? Eyes on the miniature. And so if I try to watch something like One Piece, I'm gonna be distracted because I'm gonna keep looking at the subtitles. So I was thinking about, well, I want to rewatch some show because I'm getting nostalgic, and I was like, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's perfect because the first season is very corny, and so some bits of it, you know, you might describe as cringe, but listen, don't kill the part of you that is cringe. Kill the part that cringes. That's been wise words with Web, because cringe is alright. You know, if people aren't allowed to be cringe, then people aren't allowed to be human. But still, there are some parts of early Buffy that I'd just rather, like, just block out of my memory. Right, like, the early Angel-Buffy romance is just awful. And honestly, the military guy, I think he's probably a better romance. Like, the whole story arc with Buffy and her 2 romance options is literally just, like, you get the horny bat, and then you just start swinging. But I think the military guy was at least more interesting. Also, Angel sucked. The show. Although Angel himself is kind of a dork. That's also true. And then, like, another thing is that I can rewatch the entire series of Buffy, because when I'm painting or modeling, I can just not pay attention to the final season. Well, I shouldn't say the final season, I should say the final episode. That was like, I almost want to rewatch Lost as well. Like, I've been thinking about, like, old TV shows that have, like, apparently people are coming around on Lost's ending, and they're like, oh, actually, Lost's ending is really cool. I have, to be fair, I've only watched Lost once, okay? It's probably one of the shows that I liked, but then never saw it again, unlike most of the other TV shows that I really enjoy. But I remember the polar bear, and I remember thinking the plot twist was really stupid. So maybe if I went back and watched it, I would agree with, like, modern internet consensus, where it's like, oh, the ending of Lost is actually really good and you're just too stupid. Maybe I would agree with that if I went back and rewatched Lost. But I feel like there are just a lot of TV shows that they were amazing, but then the endings were just, like, okay. But because the show itself is amazing, you just write off the ending as trash. So I haven't watched Buffy in a few years. I haven't watched Lost in, like, 8 or 7. So I think that I would probably, like, I'm more, like, when I watched Lost, I was more of, like, a, well, actually, well, if you'll excuse me, I need to now go online and argue about children's cartoons on the internet. But now, you know, I'm much more mellowed out, and it's just like, it's whatever, man. So I imagine if I watched Lost again, I'd be like, you know, it's alright. It's alright. Polar bear's cute. But no, Lost was really good, and I want to rewatch that. I want to rewatch Buffy, and I want to start watching One Piece again. So I think what I'm going to do for One Piece is just start at the time skip. Right? Like, I'll start... So here's what I'll do. I'll start on the story arc right before the time skip. That's what I'll do. So I see them get their ass kicked, and then get back together, and then they're on to, like, I don't even remember what it's called. Like, I remember the Grand Line is what they got in after. Like, the Grand Line was the big thing for a while. And then they got to the end of that, and then they went to the Fishman Island. And then after that, I don't remember what that part is called. So I think that, yeah, I pretty much, that's like, I want to start when they get to the new place. Like, I really want to watch the Fishman Island arc again. That was so good. Like, that's one of my favorites. But I might go back and watch Ennie's Lobby. Like, Ennie's Lobby is really good. I don't know. Like, that's the problem that I have, is that I want to go to the end of the series so that I can catch up and start watching it again, like, current. But then at the same time, I also don't want to skip out on some of my favorite story arcs, and so I just think to myself, maybe it'd just be more convenient to just start from the beginning, and so by the time I get to the present, I'll have more stuff to watch, if that makes sense. Anyways, I'm rambling on too long. Thanks for watching. The name's Webweaver. Have a good one. Stay safe out there. Bye.